Hi, this is Pierre-Yves Delacote, working at Planet Technologies. Today I wanted to talk about remote work, since a lot of people are going to work remotely due to the coronavirus. I thought it was maybe useful for some of you to share my experience about that. So it's a fresh experience because I moved a year ago in the US, and before that I was working in an office almost every day. I was commuting almost every day, um, and now I'm working uh, from home almost every day. My office is in Baltimore, near Baltimore, and I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. So obviously I cannot commute every day, and so it has been a shock for me. It's a really when I started, it was difficult. So I had to get organized. So that's gonna be my feedback. How did I manage that? I'm not gonna go into a demonstration of the tools I'm using. What I can tell you is I'm using Teams, which is pretty good in terms of quality. Uh, I've fiber at home. I think that's a good connection if you can have that. But I think even if you don't have fiber, it works well. So I just wanted to give you some feedback from what I'm experimenting in terms of logistic. So in terms of logistic, I tried to settle my office in different rooms. Um, the first room I chose was an open room. It was a living room. Um, and it was downstairs. And I have a dog, and the problem was that when the UPS was dropping, or FedEx or Amazon was dropping a, a package, then they were ringing the bell, and the dog was barking, and if I was in meeting, it was not very good. So I chose to change, and also there was people, my family coming in and out, so it was not convenient. So I decided to go in a dedicated room with a door, um, and so that was the first big decision, is to settle in a room that is closed with a door that you can lock eventually. Then in terms of device, so I have a nice computer laptop that I can move around. That's pretty cool. It's a Surface Pro, so it has a very good webcam, but had to purchase a device, the headsets. I really recommend for everybody to purchase a headset that is compliant with your system. So if it's Teams, with compliant with Teams; if it's Skype, compliant with Skype; if it's Cisco WebEx, etc. So buy headsets which is compliant with your system, your web meeting system, because of those buttons. So especially when you have to mute yourself or answer a call, it's pretty handy. And sometimes if you don't have a compliant headset, you're talking, even with headsets, you're talking and you think you're on mute, but because you press this button, but since it's not compliant, it didn't really unmute, so it's really annoying. So buy a headset that is compliant. Every provider like Microsoft, they have a page with all the compliant headsets. And also you need to use headsets because when you talk with somebody, and you can hear, for example, when I have a meeting with, let's say, 10 different person within the company or outside the company, and I can really hear echo. For example, when I talk, I can hear my voice echoing because somebody doesn't have headsets, and so it's echoing. And even if the computers are supposed to do the echo cancellation, it doesn't work all the time. So headsets is the best way to avoid echo. Um, so in terms of logistic, yeah, you should have headsets. I recommend to have an external monitor so you can manage different streams, so your communication stream, maybe your work stream. For example, if you want to take notes on OneNote, or use a pad if you feel more comfortable. As I often said, there's not one size fits all, so it's just feedback. For example, I'm not using an external monitor, and I'm using a pad, even if I'm addicted to OneNote, but I feel more focused this way. So I'm reading my pad, and also I have a ball, because when you're working remote and talking remote, sometimes you have to drink. It's just water to feel better. So get your essential around you. So for me, it's headset, a bottle of water, no plastic, and a pad, and that's all. And I put my desk in front of a window so I have the right light, so when I communicate with people, I can talk with people and they can see me easily. I'm not in a dark place. Um, and if I want, I can use a background blur to hide what's behind me. Second thing, I think it's worth sharing is when you decide to work remote or you have to work remote, you need to define some sort of governance with your family, because your family needs to understand that you're working from home. It's just like if you were in an office, so they cannot just come in your room and ask you a question like if you were not working. You're working, and potentially you're in a communication with somebody. So you need to define some set of rules, and so I explained that to my kids, my family, my wife, um, and I explained the pros and cons, but I explained what were the rules. So I used a really simple rule. When my door is locked, it means that I'm either I need to be not disturbed at all. So it's just like the status with the status do not disturb on on Skype or on Teams. So it means they cannot come in. They cannot disturb me, either because I'm focusing on doing something really important or I have an important meeting. Usually, it's when I have an important meeting that I lock the door. When the door is closed, it means I'm busy, I'm doing something, but they can still come quietly. They know that I might be in a meeting, might not be with the video, so they can come in, grab something, but they have to be quiet. And when the door is open, they can come and discuss, and they know that maybe I can have a impromptu call, so then they need to get out. But they understand this rule, and this rule works fine with me, and it works fine with them. So I think it was a simple rule. I just mapped the status on Teams to my door, locked, closed, or open. Um, in terms of when you're using online meetings with people, what should you use between audio and video? So I think there's no truth here. I think it really depends on people. Um, I know it depends on the company culture. It depends on also other factors. If you don't have a good bandwidth, you might not want to use video. But what I can tell you is when you're using video, it's more engaging for several reasons. Because it's more real. That's the first reason. The second reason is you can see people expression on their face, and also you can see if they're not doing something else. Because I'm sure that when you don't have video, people are checking their mail, doing something else. So definitely video is more engaging. So, and video is not easy. For example, when I'm looking at the video in front of me. So if I was in a meeting, I will look at the person or who's talking in front of me. So I'm looking at the middle of the screen, while I should be looking at the webcam. So here I'm looking at the webcam, here I'm looking at the video. So you have the feeling when you're on the other side that when I'm not looking at the webcam, I'm not looking you in your eyes. So it's a little bit an habit to get. So look at the webcam if you want to really touch base with people, and because you're eyes to eyes. But I know that Microsoft is working on the fact that even when you're looking at the middle of the video, they catch your eyes. So on the other side, people think that you're looking at them. So video is not that easy for a lot of people. It can be bandwidth consuming. It's not. It's a matter of culture. It's a matter of people feelings. It might not be possible all the time, every time, for every person, but it's the most engaging. So make your choice depending on your situation, your context. Audio is pretty good. It has pretty good quality. The only problem is when you have a lot of people, you don't really know when to engage the conversation. So you need to have somebody who's passing the microphone in a way to the people. So it needs a little bit of discipline, especially when you're a lot of people talking at the same time. So it needs to get for you to get organized a little bit. And when you do also when you share your screen, and for example, you share a PowerPoint presentation or you're demonstrating a product or whatever, when you share your screen, the person who's sharing his screen usually doesn't see the chat that are going on. So it's not easy when you're by yourself presenting something to see the reaction of the people in front of you. So you probably need, especially if it's an important meeting, you're sharing your screen, you probably need somebody else to help you and answer the questions that are in the chat, or maybe somebody who's telling you there's a question in the chat, here's a question, or maybe you at the end of the presentation or in the middle, you take the questions that are in the chat. So you need to get organized and used to that kind of situation where you have to present in full screen mode, and you need some help to be sure that you're not missing any questions. And finally, I'm looking at Pat here. Finally, I'm going to talk about hygiene, because when you're working remote, you're not commuting, so you're not walking a lot. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, I'm not a psychologist, but I think it's good for the body and for your mind to get some break from time to time and not be stuck on your computer, and look around and sometimes get a break, just a short break, and look far away. It's better for your, at least it's better for my eyes. Also to stand up, it's pretty good, and if you can walk from time to time, it's even better. So just a little hygiene recommendation, um, to get some breaks, and not a long breaks, but just a breaks to walk 5 minutes, for example. So that was my little contribution, uh, sharing my experience uh, of being a remote worker. It's been a year I've doing that. There's a social aspect I didn't talk about. I might shoot another video on the social aspect, because when you're working from home, you don't have the social connection. So what can you do to get the social connection? That'll probably be a next video in a few days. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have other ideas of how you better work being remote, other recommendation or the tips and tricks, just share them in the comment. I'll be glad to know what are the other tips and tricks. See you.